We are going down to Tucson to check out 2 different pleasure ways.
So we've been shopping for a camper van, a Class B, for a little while now, and there just happens to be 2 that are in Tucson. One's privately owned and the other one is at a dealership. It may be on consignment, but we don't know. So we're heading out. It's a 2-hour drive, and we'll get back.
Let's go. Bye.
Bye.
Just got to the dealership. We're taking a look at the 2011 Pleasureway first. Just a really quick walk around. It's an Excel TS, which is the one we're interested in. It's got the wide body.
As Michelle just mentioned, this is a 2011 Pleasureway Excel. This floor plan is the TS floor plan, which is the one that we prefer. You can see the outdoor awning from the passenger side. This RV is 20 feet long and is built on the Ford E350 chassis. This particular model is the one that's equipped with a V8 engine, a 5.4 V8. I think there was an option for a V10 as well. However, from the research that we've done, the gas mileage is considerably less. So I think we're more serious about shopping for the V8s. Here's a shot of the front end of the unit. I think that looks pretty standard for a Ford. Very similar to the Ford F-150 and the Ford truck line as well. Here's a shot of the top of the RV. You can see, I think that's a Dometic fan, and on the left there with a television antenna there closest to you, and then the top of the air condition on this particular unit. Michelle and I, if we were to buy this particular RV or one similar, certainly we're looking at a cargo rack on top, probably install some solar as well, some solar panels, and have that electrical capacity by adding on additional onboard house batteries as well. Here's a shot of the house battery that's accessible from the outside. It's on a slider rails there. Not sure how much space or how far that goes back. We didn't take a measurement or how well insulated this is. If we were to convert over to lithium iron phosphate batteries and additional batteries for a solar array, not sure we'd be able to use this particular space for that, simply because we would require additional insulation in space. Here's a picture of some additional outdoor storage, and it's quite spacious. Underneath, I was looking for, of course, damage. A lot of times if it's been taken off-road, or you can see scratches on the undercarriage. I was looking for leaks. As far as all the extra holding tanks, as well as off of the chassis, I was looking for rust damage and corrosion, the condition of all the rubber fittings down there as well, and all the supporting brackets. Took a picture of underneath just to see how that generator is mounted. That is a Cummins Onan generator, and I'd imagine it's quite heavy. So just wanted to see how well that was mounted, whether or not there was any corrosion or rust damage underneath there as well. Opening up the 2 double doors in the back, you'll see the mechanism on the left that controls that power back couch. What you'll see is also that it's got 2 seat belts, which is also why we like this floor plan, is because that back seat allows passengers to sit in the back with seat belts, and they'll be facing forward. The other floor plan of the XL for this particular year has 2 side seats, and I think there's like a little cabinet or vanity in the middle, but it doesn't allow passengers to face forward in that regard. So we really like this. Here's a picture taken from the cab of the vehicle. on the right is the wet bath behind that door, and you can see me seated on that back bench. Air conditioner for the cabins mounted on top, and you'll see those cabinets, those overhead cabinets on both sides of that air conditioner. There's also cabinets on the left above the kitchen area as well. So here's a better picture of the back. That back couch at a flip of a switch will fold down flat, and it'll actually meet up with those two side benches right there. And then you can put that middle table at a lower position, put those cushions in there, and it actually becomes a king size bed. On the driver's side, attached to the wet bath wall, is the television. In this particular year for 2011, they mounted it actually as part of a cabinet. So when we open up the cabinet, you'll see that there is some storage space in there as well. It does block a little bit of the seating room when you're sitting in that bench there. I think it was either 2012 or 2013. They actually did away with the cabinet and mounted the TV in the same position. They just did so on an adjustable arm that comes out from the wall. And then they moved all the electronics up into the overhead cabinet. Not sure if it's able to be converted after the fact. It looks like it shouldn't be a problem to do that if that's the direction that we wanted to go. Just a quick picture of the main power breaker and electrical buses pulling power to the rest of the cabin. It's a close-up picture of the heat pump air conditioner. It's actually worked quite well. We did fire it up and cooled down the space quite a bit pretty quickly. Some of the controls, you'll see the Cummins Onan generator and its total hour meter. I think this one had 165 hours on it. This started up really quick right off the bat. So we were quite impressed how quickly it fired up. There is a gauge on the top right showing your gray water tank, black water tank, and fresh water tank, as well as the battery levels. And on the left is the switch to turn on and off the hot water heater. These units come with a 2-burner propane stove. This is much like we experienced in the travel trailer we recently rented. So quite accustomed to these. These are pretty standard, especially in this year of RVs. The sink, I don't think either of us were a fan of this particular sink, and that's just due to the size. These countertops, they're not laminate. Prior, I think Pleasureway in 2010 or I think maybe in 2010 or maybe 2009, they switched over from a hard plywood laminate based counters for Corian. So the countertops are actually Corian. However, the size of this particular sink is a little bit on the small size. We would probably have that countertop extended. I'm not sure if there's room underneath, but on top it appears as if there's room for a larger sink to be installed. And a picture of the Dometic refrigerator. Again, standard size. We did not fire this up at the time. We were told that it was functioning. However, when you look at the inside, seems to be sufficient space. Not sure if this would need to be upgraded or not. It is a 2011, so 14 years old. It might very well. In the back on the driver's side, on that small little bench, there's some storage underneath. They've got their jack in mounted in there right now. On the passenger side, however, is a similar cabinet. However, that's taken up by some of the utilities, so that's not really usable space on the passenger side. Here's a picture of the wet bath. We did both walk into the wet bath and sit down just to get an idea of the space available. Sitting down seemed to be more than adequate in that regards. Even myself at 6 foot, my knees were considerable distance away from the cabinet, so there's no issues sitting down. Standing up, however, and you can see it better on this next picture here, the profile, the side profile on the right of the image, you can see how it curves to the outside of the van. So that does infringe on me standing up straight. I'm 6 feet, so I do have to duck a little bit if I'm close to there. Of course, showering, on the frequency of using this on the inside shower, shouldn't be a concern. Michelle at 5'6" didn't have a problem at all as far as standing up comfortably.
All right, so we just left viewing the 2011 camper van, and we're on our way to see the 2013. It's private seller.
Just
Is
a couple blocks down the street.
Yeah, a couple blocks right down the street.
Coincidence completely.
Yeah, complete coincidence. So obviously this is a few years newer. We wanted to try to check out too, since we were driving all the way down to Tucson. So we got there, we met the person that was selling it. She said she was selling it for her mother. Not sure if that's true or not. There was some inconsistencies with the stories, but either way, we just we did a walk around, just real quick. We did not take any video or photos of this one because right off the bat, the windshield was cracked. Just taking a couple glances, there was a little bit of damage on it. And then Dan we tried to start it up.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, the camper wouldn't start, and we proceeded to pull out some jumper cables to try to start it, and it still wouldn't start. And come to find out, they were having some electrical problems with the camper previously, and apparently there's like a 6-volt power draw which killed both batteries, the house battery and the chassis battery. And along with that, we found out very quickly that a generator was not equipped, and we were looking for a generator, even though for this particular model we'll probably do some upgrades with the electrical, with solar and such. We still wanted the Cummins generator installed, and this one didn't have it. And this seller was just giving off weird vibes the whole time.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward.
So we left there, and once we left, we went out to lunch.
Yeah,
It was
went and grabbed
lunch.
some lunch just so we could just discuss everything.
Yeah, and to see if we actually wanted to make an offer on this 2011 unit. It is on consignment. So what that means is that somebody, a third party owns it. Actually, they're probably the second party. So there is an owner, and he's presently in Oregon. What he did is apparently come to and from Arizona, typical snowbird, and asked this dealership to sell it on his behalf. And of course, the seller gets a commission in that regards. So that, in a nutshell, is what's considered a consignment agreement. And well, of course, now we've got a third party, the dealership, increasing the price a little bit.
Yeah, by a little bit.
By a little bit, but that also means that we have to pay sales tax. And for the county that we were in, I think it was what, 6.8?
6.8, and then there was some just additional fees, just dealership fees, like 200 here, 200 there. So it ended up being around close to 5,000 that would have been added to the price.
Extra.
Right. Which we agree that we could probably get them to come down. But
yeah, it's still 5,000 more than if we were dealing with
like a private party.
The private party, the original owner of the vehicle. And as Michelle said, we felt confident we could have negotiated them down from their listing price. Their listing price was 51, and that certainly would have brought it down into the mid 40s. But did we do that? I don't know. Did we do that? Did we take it for a test drive and drive it home?
Fall in love with it?
Well, we did fall in love with it, most certainly, but to find out whether or not we took it home, you're going to have to tune in next week, and we'll let you know.
All right.
Yeah? Well, wait a minute. No, let's not do that again. We did not buy it. We did not drive it home. We did not take it for a test drive. During lunch, we ran the numbers, and looking at our next few years, we decided that it's a little too soon for us to make this kind of an investment. It's a depreciating asset, number one. Number two, we wouldn't be able to park a 20-foot RV in our driveway.
So we'd have to rent, get a rental space.
Yeah, a rental space, you're looking at about $150 a month. Insurance for this particular model would have been about $75 a month. So there's certainly some additional costs at this point that figured we wait a little bit.
We decided just to wait, so.
But we're still looking, and I think
we're excited.
We're still very excited. I think we fell in love with this model. I think, it's precisely what we want. Yep. And we'll be keeping our eyes out in the future, and for a similar. I think our cutoff is 2008. So 2008 to 2013.
13 is the year.
Model that we're going to be looking for. Preferably a V8 with the same seating arrangement, the TS floor plan, which has got that back seat, which we like. Yeah. So, but that's for another time.
That is. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And,
We'll see you next time.
Till next time.
Bye.
See ya. Whenever you're ready.
I'm not ready.